never want to be a myth and a legend.
That's true.
That's what, you got paper there.
Yeah, we got paper here.
Just give me one sheet. Well, you got some stuff you want to talk about?
Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
Where's John? There he is.
There's Kaz. Kaz, you were a busy man up there doing some business for the tax-paying citizens of Erie.
One thing about a council job, you're always busy, so.
Yeah, some of you guys
When I'm done here, I'll be upstairs too again.
handling the business for
Well,
the voting
you
public.
gotta get the people when they're here, and unfortunately, they're only here for the working hours, so.
Yeah, that's usually when their city hall is at its busiest. So what's new, Kaz?
Oh, nothing, John. We got a caller?
You know, he hung up, I think.
Okay, well, what's new in Johnville?
You know, I went down to Erie Days.
Yeah.
And Friday night I was down there, was my favorite of, well, they were all good from, you know, what I've heard from everybody and saw, and, you know, the Erie All-Stars were down there singing Queen, you know, a Queen tribute. I thought that was pretty neat having the local folks come in there and show their talents, you know, as the main act. I thought that this one lady, her name was Amy Schellenberger, I think her name was. She came in and sang a rendition of one of Queen's songs. And
I'm gonna talk to Paul Yocklin,
okay,
and next time I see him, which I see him quite a bit, I'll see if I can talk him into doing some Jimmy Morrison with him.
you gonna
Would
get
that
up
be
on there
would
next
that be
time?
a scary sight watching me doing Jimmy
No,
Morrison?
I think it's like karaoke.
Well, I need some enhancement, liquid wise.
Yeah, you need some liquid courage.
No, not courage. Just
Oh, you got plenty of courage.
I got plenty of courage. Just
No, you need everybody else to be.
I don't want to be around when the tomatoes start flowing.
No, you have to have everybody else have liquid enhancement so you sound better. You don't need any. The audience.
Hey, when I was, you know, the groups we had.
Yeah.
Half the time you didn't know if they sounded good or not.
Yeah, right.
We didn't have good microphones back then. You didn't have the state-of-the-art stuff, you know.
Right. It was interesting. We were at the art museum and I saw a lot of new faces there that came out and enjoyed some of the show. I thought that it was the crowds were pretty good. I didn't hear very many complaints about anything, but so far, so I guess
Yeah,
that was
you
pretty
know,
good.
nobody should ever complain about free entertainment.
That's right. The
What do you
price is
think?
Right. When the price is right. Go ahead, caller.
Yes, hi. I'm calling about, would the city be open to acquisitions with other municipalities within the county, or maybe the city and the county doing a acquisition amongst themselves?
What acquisition?
Would the city be open to unite with other municipalities at a governmental level?
They do.
We do. Yeah, go ahead, John.
Yeah, they have the COG, yeah, the Council of Governments, where Erie, Mill Creek, Summit, Harbor Creek, everybody has a representative that.
Talking about like regional government.
Well, that's a bridge too far for
Yeah,
some people.
let's not get carried away.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, but I can tell you the chances are probably right now slim and none in slim enough town
Yeah, you mean in Erie and Mill Creek joining?
getting any of them to join.
Yeah.
The only merger we've had in the last few years was, if I remember right, correct me,
Yeah,
Girard Township and Girard Borough.
yeah.
And
We can't even get Wesleyville and
no,
Lawrence Park to talk.
well, Wesleyville tried to join us once with the police department idea. That got shot down not by us, but by legal issues.
Yeah,
But no, you have a good idea, sir. Here's the problem, though.
Yeah.
By law, you can correct me. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I was told that Erie can't move on Mill Creek. Mill Creek could move on Erie.
Why is that?
Just the way the state charter is, that the city could never, like in some states, in Virginia, for example, there was a very liberal annexation laws. And what they did in Virginia was the cities that controlled the water, the sewer, like Richmond, Norfolk, they actually went out and said to them, well, if you want our services, you join us. In Pennsylvania, it's a little more difficult. So, I remember the Times News did an article once saying it would be easier for Mill Creek to actually broach the city than it is for the city to broach Mill Creek.
Which will never happen.
Wesleyville.
And you know what'll happen? Someday, out of need, when Mill Creek is up against the wall with paid fire issues and infrastructure that's starting to get old.
Oh, which it's
You know, they may look at us, and at that time, we may not want them.
no, we
because-
won't. We
Erie and
already
Wesleyville.
know.
Well, then again, see, Wesleyville's a borough. They would have to approach us. There would have to be,
I remember back in the 90s,
Yeah.
the city wanted to hook up with Wesleyville
right,
police or something.
what?
Police.
Back in the 90s.
Oh yeah, with police. I was there. I was there when they did that. But there were issues on the state level that caused problems between the two police departments, and because of that, it never worked out. And it was issues involving, I'll be truthful, it was pension and seniority and all that stuff.
Imagine that.
Well, when you merge,
Yeah.
things happen,
Yeah.
and it wouldn't be good for some people and wouldn't be good for others.
Right.
And then there was the issue of who's going to pay for this and who's going to pay. It's
So Wesleyville cops would have got a free pension out of the Erie City Police?
no, I don't know. You know, I never found out what it was, but it had to do with if they merged all the agreements that they had at that time, each department would be out the window. And I think that, you know, I'd have to look into it more because I don't want to speak out of turn. But there were issues that were,
I mean, there would
Where-
be a lot more costs
it was a little lengthy at that time.
depending on how many people they had on their force. And how
Which is why what you see a lot of times is you see like Mill Creek agree to patrol a certain area, but not merge with that department. Or you see, you know, other communities band together and say they have a joint police department, you know, or they rent the services of a bigger department, which is not unusual. I think Mill Creek patrols some, huh?
Does Erie Police rent their services out to Wesleyville, Mill Creek, and what have you?
They could if two things happen. Number one, if the city agreed to that, and if the other municipality agreed to it,
Yeah.
and they did a cost study analysis and said, yeah, it's okay.
Well, they'd have to pay us for sure.
Well, yeah, they would, well, that would be like, I remember years ago, Wesleyville patrolled Harbor Creek and/or Lawrence Park. No, Lawrence Park has their own. They used to do something with Harbor Creek.
Did they?
Yeah, and I remember there was like a little program, but yeah, they paid, you know, for kind of like an extra patrolman, okay?
Right.
And it would be cheaper for them than funding their own department. Yeah, that could happen, sir, but it takes two to tango, as they say, and
yes.
right now, I don't think the suburbs want to merge with us.
And then we'll,
But we do get along as far as buying, like salt together. We get together when there's grants available for a large, what do you call it, a large segment of the community where everybody can benefit, like trees being planted.
joint purchasing.
Yeah, and
Save money.
Grant.
we get together on a lot of issues where, like they're having trouble out in the townships now getting brine oil for the roads. So when they go together as a joint project, they get it at a cheaper rate.
Okay.
But we do cooperate. It's just that when you start talking about people giving up their titles and people merging entirely,
Pensions and money.
there's a lot of fear out there.
Mill Creek will fight, you know, but here's the thing with Mill Creek. I don't think we want them. I don't.
Yeah. But, you know, I mean, it's something to think about, but, you know, it'd be interesting to look at Toronto, Nashville, some of the other communities that have, Indianapolis, that have gone metro government and see how they did it, you know. It's probably a long, painful process, and has a lot to do with convincing them that, you know, you're not bad and they're not bad.
Yeah, but you need the votes. You need the votes.
Well, it would ultimately go to the people, and that would be the scary part. I mean, I don't know Mill Creek. I don't, you know,
No.
I don't know if their people would vote for that.
Well, they tried to get, they had a study,
Just to turn themselves into a city and or a borough or
I think
something.
it was like about 15 years ago.
No, real closer than that.
Was it 10?
Yeah, because they had that big study vote when.
Yeah, and they voted no to even study it.
Yeah, they didn't even want to study whether to become a city. Right now, they're a first-class township, but they could, they could be a city, a borough.
You know, Mill Creek has a lot of good things, but they're tapped out on a lot of things, and their infrastructure is hundreds of millions of dollars behind the
And
times.
if you're not careful, Summit's a new golden boy.
Yeah, Summit's up and coming. If you have a fire department and you start paying them, and the more people that live there, you're talking fire departments, school taxes, all that go up, then people, just like Erie, they urban sprawl to Summit. Then next thing you know, Mill Creek is starting to slip backwards like Erie did.
But I like your idea, and I'll tell you this, I've long been a proponent of it, if we could work out the details.
But for some reason, they don't want to do it.
No,
the
but
fact of the matter
think of
is,
this, think of a city,
I don't think we do.
think of a city of 150, that's what the merger would be just with Mill Creek. Roughly about 150,000.
Yeah,
That's, 348, that's about 13,000 more than the city was
yeah,
at its high point.
right,
Now, but the metropolitan area still is not big.
right,
But now when you go to talk, you're now the third largest city again.
right. I mean, their police department's higher paid than our guys are, and they don't do anything.
But you know, it makes sense with the fire departments to merge them because we're urban.
Yeah, now that would make sense. I mean, a countywide fire department would be a good idea.
Even better yet. At least in the urban areas like Harbor Creek, Summit, but
Right.
not so much maybe in Fairview, they
Right.
may not need it.
Yeah, right. Well, all right, caller, we gotta get some other callers. Thanks for calling,
Thank you.
But you have a very good idea, it's just gonna be
Yeah.
hard working it out.
for sure.
I mean, they've talked about this for years.
Right,
And, you know, even when I joke with my colleagues on the COG, and, you know, it's a tough nut for them to crack.
right. Are you the liaison to the call?
Yeah. And I tell you, we get along, we really do.
Well, that's good.
And it's amazing that when there's grants out there, you know, even if we are not gonna benefit,
Who else is on the call?
I mean, from,
Who are the other representatives?
well, the city has more because we're bigger. It goes by volume.
Yeah,
Likewise, when there's, payment to be made, our dues are higher.
yeah.
It was the same thing with the taxing body vote.
Do we save money being involved with the call?
Yeah, in some things. I mean, there's no doubt that, like when we buy paper or we
Yeah.
buy salt.
Bulk purchasing, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, salt for sure.
Well, yeah, well,
That's a big one.
they'll bring it to one location, even if we have to truck it. You know, like, you know, they'll come up with a plan, but
I remember Brian McGrath was telling me about, but
go ahead.
they were running out of salt in Mill Creek and how beneficial it was working through the cog.
Well, yeah, because we negotiate a price. And what they do is once a year, they come up and they ask everybody, here's what we're doing, but is there anything else you want to see added?
Right,
Brine was a big issue this year with the townships, because there's a problem with the fracking. And the
no.
brine wasn't available like it used to be.
right,
And so, you know, how do they keep the dust down on the roads?
right,
Then there were some environmental issues. So the COG works with that. They get tires, we buy tires.
right.
We buy vehicles if we want, but a lot of times the vehicles we can get cheaper through the, what they call the state system.
Well, a lot of times what they do are they'll share heavy equipment and stuff like
Well, yeah,
that.
in fact, Mill Creek buys and Harbor Creek buys a lot of their trucks through the COG by buying like old army trucks.
Yeah,
Okay, we don't need it, we do a little different, you know.
right,
They do it, you know, but the nice part is, John, even besides the salt and all that, there's material we can buy, like paving material, patching material, okay? They cover everything, you know.
right,
And then when there's grants available for, tree planting, signage, a lot of the signage you see,
uh-huh,
the COG got that, the signs that say, you know, this way to the Niagara, or,
right,
that was all available through COG funds.
right,
And, you know, the COG being the agency, I think they like it, and remember, just COGs are all over the state.
right,
So they like that when they're dealing with one voice. And I'll say that Jennifer Kunzel does a great job.
Jennifer, yes.
Yeah, and she, you know, as director, she knows how to work the system with all the various political people.
Right,
It's worked out great. We all, you know, when we meet as one.
right.
She knows who to contact.
Where's their offices at?
They're in the county building over at the museum complex.
Over here?
Yeah, you know, by where Nick Scott's hotel is. You know that building above the Nautical Museum? The county had that.
Oh, down on the Bayfront?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The county had that, remember that little extension to the library on the one end?
Oh, kind of like where they had the charter, the Maritime Charter School area?
Well, no, it was, if you go past the auditorium,
It's on the complex.
and it's where the museum is, the Nautical Museum,
Yeah.
but there's some offices up above. We're a little bit low.
Turn it down. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, how you guys doing today?
Pretty
Good.
Hey, I was wondering, is the city ever going to do anything about rodent control, skunks, possums?
Glad you brought that up.
I believe that's actually under the county.
Something needs to be.
Well, I think the county had the,
You can't drive anywhere in the city at any time of the day. It don't smell like skunk.
At nighttime.
yeah, you're right, and I tell you what,
Street, see some dead thing laying in the street.
we had woodchucks, I've had woodchucks near my house for a long time, skunks at night.
Woodchuck next door in an abandoned property that ain't maintained. I mean, I personally killed a half a dozen skunks myself this year. I know a couple other people that have killed 13, 14 skunks.
Hey, don't say how you did them, because you'll get in trouble.
No, yeah, I don't care what the city does.
Well, no, it's not, what I found out, the late Jim Thompson found this out.
Keep complaining about something they need to take care of, and they don't take care of it. I take care of it.
Well, the late Jim Thompson found out, when he was alive, that there was only certain ways you could eliminate under the state law, right?
No.
And then, our guy openly is not equipped to handle skunks and stuff like that.
How do you handle a skunk?
Well, you have to trap them. And the problem is, I'll tell you this, if you go out and call a trapper that's legit and licensed,
Yeah.
Expensive. I ain't paying for that.
yeah, and if you catch a dog in the meantime,
All right.
or a cat,
Yeah. You're in trouble.
or a squirrel, okay, he's gonna charge you to come out. Now, you can buy a trap, but then you have to take the animal out somewhere.
I was told by somebody in Mill Creek that you can go to the whatever municipal building,
Yeah.
trap, and set it up. And if there's something in the trap in the morning, you call somebody and they'll come pick it up.
In the township?
In Mill Creek.
You know what? I'm glad you told, I'm gonna ask
You
him.
better look into that one.
Yeah, cause our
We
guy,
have a problem.
we've talked to our guy and he's not equiped to do it.
That's funny that you brought that up, because I noticed that this weekend. I was driving around, and I tell you, even at my house.
Yeah.
I mean, they're everywhere. I mean, this year's really bad.
Well, the county, as far as rodents, are you still there, sir?
Yeah.
The county, I remember when I first bought my house.
Well, if you live in the county and you don't shoot them, you ain't too bright.
Right.
Well, yeah, in the city though, we have an ordinance that says you can't shoot them. And believe this now, I'm gonna tell you this. If Jimmy Thompson was right, and I don't think he was wrong, he asked the Commonwealth how you dispose of an animal. And they told him you could club it or trap it or drown it.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
you
you
weren't
put it in
allowed
a
to
trap
shoot
and
it.
you just drop it in a 5-gallon bucket while it's still in a trap.
Yeah, but you're not allowed to shoot it. Well, in the city, obviously, you got an ordinance against shooting, but
Yeah.
even technically on the county, if it's not hunting season, you're not supposed to, unless you fall into that farm thing and all that. And
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to shoot a skunk, because if you trap it, you go to get it, it's gonna spray it.
we got caught for shooting groundhogs once on my buddy's property. His dad, we were young then. We got challenged,
I mean,
But
you don't wanna
here's the problem with.
Hunting rabbits over the hill here before the Bayfront Highway, and we used to train rabbit dogs. And then back when there was still a shipping industry, rats, you couldn't keep the rats out of the garbage. I killed hundreds of rats with BB guns when I was a kid.
Well, there was a time when the county would, I want you to ask our friend Carl about this.
Okay.
But there was a time when the county would, under the health department, you could call the county and, the city abrogated that authority to them because it was a county issue under state law. So the county would come out if you had an empty field, and I had one next to my house. And people in the neighborhood were saying, we had, skunks, all that stuff in there. And not to mention probably, some field mice. So the county used to come out and they would post it with little signs, and then they would bait. They would take these bait bags and throw them down the holes or wherever, and they got out of that business.
Right.
So, you know, that didn't help, sir?
A few years back, there's a big rabies problem around here with raccoons, so they were dropping bait with rabies vaccine in it. You tell me they can't drop bait that sterilizes these animals?
But they can, but they got out of it. I think it was a money issue.
Yeah.
Ask our good friend, Councilman.
You just pass it on to the taxpayer. You got to pay a guy $300 to come and trap them out of your property.
Or you gotta pay like an exterminator or
I
somebody.
mean, it's
you
getting
know.
to the point where I see them all over the place. It's not like a one, you know.
Oh, even if you don't see them, it's a constant smell. You can't even open your window at nighttime.
I think it's because we got people that unfortunately leave garbage out. They're not as careful.
I mean, it's a combination.
And
but
it's a
they're
combination of a lot of
There's
things.
a lot more there than I've noticed.
When you were a kid, sir, you're about my age, right?
I was born in '63.
A little younger than me, but do you ever remember seeing that many crows in the city of Erie?
Crows?
Well, I got a bunch of owls and hawks in my neighborhood, so
Yeah,
crows
I've seen
are pretty
them,
much
but
gone.
I don't remember crows when I was a kid.
Yeah.
You know, they're scavengers.
They were around. There was a bunch of crows a few years ago, but like I said, right across the street from me in the alley there, I got a nest of owls, and then down the street a little bit, there's a nest of hawks.
Well, hawks are good for keeping rodents away.
Yeah, hawks. I've seen a lot more hawks.
I don't mind hawks. We had a hawk in my backyard.
Yesterday, and I could just hear this commotion, and a hawk swooped down, and it took a robin right out of midair.
Yeah, don't take rodents out too, though. And, you know.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't have a problem with mice or anything like that. I got chipmunks, squirrels, skunks, possums, groundhogs. You know, those are a little too big for a hawk.
Well, empty fields are bad for other stuff too. And
I've noticed, I mean, it's just funny that you call because I have noticed a lot more rabbits and skunks this year than usual.
Like I said, something with the State Game Commission. Ask them, is there a bait that has a sterilization in it? You know, something that'll keep them from reproducing. You know, let the ones live that are living, but they ain't gonna have no more babies.
you know, maybe I should try to. I'm going to reach out to my friend Eddie Kissel. He's a fisherman, but maybe he can fill me in on the other side of the issue with, you know, the Game Commission, how they operate. That's a very good question. You know, we might need their help. You know.
You know, because it's a local, county, state, whatever problem you want to call it. You know, if you're telling me I ain't allowed to kill them, you're telling me I have to pay to have them trapped.
Well, that's the problem. How did Jimmy Thompson word this? Pennsylvania is an agrarian state, and some of their rules on wildlife are kind of antiquated, and they don't discriminate between an urban area like, you know, Pittsburgh, Erie, Philadelphia, or Allentown, and
Yeah, and then
somebody.
you got them people that think that stuff is cute, and they purposely feed them.
Yeah.
You know, wait until the squirrels get in their house and eat their wiring,
Ooh.
and
I tell you, if they get, I knew somebody that had a squirrel in their house. It wasn't a pleasant afternoon.
oh no.
The exterminator had to come in, and they're not easy.
Oh no, it's impossible. My nephew had flying squirrels in his house,
Oh.
and it took them forever to trap them things out of there.
And they can chew wires up like mad.
Oh yeah, it cost them thousands of dollars for an electrician.
We'll get some skunk birth control and we'll be all good.
Well, you know, it's not funny. They come out of the sewers.
No, I know it's not. I see them. I mean, I'm telling you.
We got an albino in our neighborhood.
Oh yeah, an albino skunk, huh?
Yeah, my neighbor saw it. He goes, he sits on his porch at night and he goes, we even had 5 deer one night, you know. So I mean, I'm starting to wonder if I moved into what do you call it, Wattsburg?
You live in the borderline. You're on the borderline.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what's happening? They used to push south. Now they're pushing north. So you're squeezing the animals now. You know,
You could see a deer anyway. I saw a deer on the bayfront.
imagine 5 in your backyard in the city, though.
Yeah, right.
Park, and I see deer, I see turkeys, I see fox, I see coyote.
There's black bear too now.
Late night in that park across the street, I don't know where they come from at night, but they're there.
Yeah, right. Well, all right. Thanks for calling. We got to get some other callers in.
Okay, yeah, like I said, see what you can do about rodent control, because it's definitely a problem.
Well, they listen upstairs, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, you know, I'm going to call somebody I'm going to talk to Eddie Kissel about it. If he has any friends I can talk to.
Yeah, see if they got any
I mean,
birth control.
see, the state has some Jimmy Thompson found this out when, that was his
Did
big issue.
did he get in trouble or something? Or?
Well, he called himself the unofficial.
And then Ruthie,
He went out and trapped him.
yeah, he could try, and Ruthie's like,
He called the state and they told him there was only like the methods I told. They sound brutal, but he said the trouble you did, it was the same thing with the dog issue. Pennsylvania's a weird state as far as
yeah.
animal laws go because they still have a lot of agrarian roots,
I remember when Jimmy he did not like when kids were walking in the street
Yeah, he was.
and wouldn't get out of the way. He'll run you over. He's one of the.
You know what got me mad the other day? I thought about this. I'm driving along one of the city streets,
Yeah.
and people are walking, riding their wheelchairs, their little motor scooters that are unlicensed, okay?
Yeah.
And there we are with a brand new sidewalk and brand new curb cuts.
Yeah.
I guess like Jimmy, I just don't get it.
I know.
It's gotta be a generational thing.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, I found out some other things too.
Go ahead.
I was down at Erie Days, and I found out that the people, they bought the where DeLuca's building was on Fifth and State, and a lot of the residents there, they are asked to move, but the EDDC is giving them very
Liberal
generous
terms to get out.
packages
Yeah.
to relocate, and the guy that I talked to was very happy with what they gave him. So the fact that they're going around and kicking people out and all this,
Well, I don't believe that.
it's nonsense.
Hey, first of all, I feel very bad for the restaurants. I do.
I do, yeah,
But I remember one of my friends was in that area,
yeah,
and he always knew that if he stayed there, he was never gonna be able to do what he wanted to do.
right,
And, he had some great ideas, and a lot of them have happened now in a different location. I think, John, that, they have a vision.
they do have a vision.
And whether, I always tell people, look, you get mad when nothing's done,
People
and
complain.
then you get mad when something's done.
People complain that we raise taxes and we have no good jobs and we have nothing but poor people that live downtown, and they're not coming downtown because of blah 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 blah. And then when someone actually puts their money where their mouth is,
Yeah.
and they actually start making change, people cry
Yeah, I mean,
and whine. I don't get it.
look, if,
It's eerie.
they say 16501 is a bad area, blah, 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 low, here's the morality.
Yeah,
How you gonna bring it up? You're gonna give everybody you could do this, you give everybody a check, monthly stipend, who's gonna pay for that?
yeah.
So if you wanna switch things around,
I heard they give them $2,500
no, but I mean, if you wanted to,
to what?
I mean, if you, like, people say, well, do something about 16501.
Yeah,
Well, what are you gonna do, give everybody a stipend every month?
yeah, right. They gave them $2,500 to help them, get a place first month, last month, and a month's rent, and they gave them money to move their furniture.
But that's
Move their
how do you
stuff.
beat that one?
Where were they when, when
I heard
last
they
time
even suggested some places, didn't they?
Yeah, they offered them a lot. It's not like they bought it, threw them out. They're not doing it that way. And also I read in the newspaper that the life expectancy age of people that live north of 38th Street is 84.
Mm-hmm.
The people that live 16501 and over there west side, over by the Little Italy neighborhood, 62 years. So we have, within a mile radius, we have a 22-year difference in life expectancy. Do you think poverty and race and all that has something to do with that? Yeah, it does.
I think it does, but.
For sure.
But then I think those figures can change from one section to another. It has to do a lot with, lifestyles and everything.
Yeah.
But,
That was the low. I think it was, they have the different tracks. It was, I want to say, Liberty to, I can't remember, Cascade, or a little bit far, or Sass to Cascade from 19th to 26th. That was the lowest. And then the 1650 with the Lower East Side, so 16501 was the second lowest track, 64 years old. Those are the life expectancies. And then they came, they wanted to do something with the blue zones to try to curtail that to where, you introduced healthy markets and healthy living to those zones. Nobody wanted to fork it over to cash because it cost money, so they went and did it in
Well,
quarters.
one of the nice things is, I don't know how it's gonna work out, I really don't, John. I know there's a lot of irons in the fire, and I tell people this is like a 10 to 20-year project.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you, the movement, you see your insurance just donated $50 million. Did you go today?
No.
We had a press conference today. $50 million to the Opportunity Zone. And, they just got, that data security company just moved to Erie. I'm telling you, things are
But
happening.
it's gonna take 10 to 20 years, okay?
Oh, for sure.
You're gonna see some instantaneous stuff,
Yeah,
but to cure the city to the extent
yeah,
that Buki and everybody wanted
yeah,
in his report,
yeah,
it's gonna take a lot of hard work, because right now we're doing the fluff zone. Downtown's gonna be the easy nut.
yeah.
The tough nut's gonna be when we start going out into the neighborhoods and really starting to, I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Doing the hard work like the sisters are doing,
Yeah.
like they did on 18th Street. As much hard work as they put on 18th Street, there's still a lot more to go, okay? But no one can say that
They're not trying.
Wally Brown and all those people didn't do a great job.
I walked
But
over.
it's gonna need a lot more,
I
to,
drove over 18th Street the other night, and it's not as bad as it used to be.
no,
It's
and
not
I'll
bad
tell you
out
this,
there.
Wally and the nuns, and I say this not because, and I know Wally,
I don't want to wait till you.
and, there was a lot of work done there. The nuns are
Oh, they
now
did,
moving
yeah.
over to the east side.
They need to.
And here's the thing though, they have limitations of what they can do. Now, they've done a lot of great work, but no one would disagree that there's not more work to be done.
Right.
Now, when we really get serious and once everybody starts seeing that we're serious, I think this is what Erie Insurance and everybody's hoping for.
Right.
Once they see that, yeah, we're serious, and we do, and hopefully the councils of the future and the mayors of the future, because this is gonna go long past us,
Yeah.
because it's a big project. If everybody's on the same thing for a number of years and are willing to make the sacrifices
Yeah.
that it's gonna take, I think that, Erie didn't go downhill in 1 year,
Right.
it went down in 20
Right.
or more. It's gonna take that long to come back.
Yeah.
But hopefully, once they
It's
see,
happening a lot faster than,
and it'll gain impetus, John.
and there's a reason why.
But I like to say 10 to 20, because I don't want anybody to think that they're gonna wake up in 5 years and we're gonna have everything solved.
No.
I like to look at it this way, 10 to 20, and if we wake up in 15 and we pretty much got it accomplished, that's a great thing, right?
I tell you, when the Erie Insurance is involved,
Well-
you know where the pockets are.
Hey, let's look at it this way, if they wanna leave, that'd be the biggest blow.
If they left Erie, shut out the lights. Because look what they've done to the downtown. What they're doing right now, you have this corridor up there.
Mm-hmm.
All the businesses that work with probably Erie Insurance, they're people that provide them with their services.
Yeah.
They're giving them the opportunity to move here.
Well, did you ever watch Water?
And why are they doing that, Kaz? To secure the fact that Erie Insurance remains in Erie once this
Because
generation
when,
of Erie,
God forbid,
of Erie Insurance executives.
let's remember what, God
moves
forbid,
on.
when Tom Hagen's gone,
Yeah,
a lot of things can happen.
exactly.
Okay.
So now I'm telling you right now, people need to quit whining about some things around here, because if he wasn't doing what we were doing, what
Yeah.
he was doing, he is putting his money into our community.
Hey, everybody else bailed on us.
Yeah, no one else is doing anything.
Some of the big factories bailed on us. Do you ever see a piece of paper like Bounty
Yeah,
and you throw it on the water, what happens?
soaks it up.
Well, think of Erie like that now.
Yeah.
Okay, Erie made a large investment, people go, what are they doing? What are they doing? We kinda know what they're doing, but they're kinda inching out the parade. Now, what happens if you're along the border of Parade Street there? Your house pretty much just got valuable, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
If you take care of it. I
Right.
think the hope is that by Erie inching out, okay, now the people around that area, things happen, hopefully. And then once you get that area, it's like a mall. You build down the hall, right?
Yeah.
They see a major department store come in, what happens? All the little buildings, all the little
Right, all
stores
the
come
little
in.
stores pop up.
They wanna get as close to the big boy, right?
Well, that's how you group your business. That's like when you go up past Summit, you have all the restaurants.
Right. So
They
think
all
what
look
happens if Erie's is successful,
Yeah.
and then you see people starting to branch out a block or two off their campus, right? Now, all of a sudden, that's out 2 blocks, and all of a sudden, somebody else says, hey, you know what? Hopefully it spreads. If it doesn't, we're in trouble.
Well, that's what you have going on now. You have a lot of these people, $50 million investment here. You have all that money over there. You have the Boston store.
And you start linking them.
And then all of a sudden, then you have the gaming authority, then you have the Erie Community Foundation, which is also part of this over
Yeah.
here, when it boils down to it.
And
So,
think, John, like right now, if you go to a hockey game, there's really nothing around it.
and the thing
Okay,
is,
but think now, combination of Erie, that all of a sudden somebody goes, hey, you know what? Buy a couple of these rotten properties. We'll put a nice, what do you call it, bar, restaurant,
right,
and all of a sudden things start hooking. You never know.
and people, the name you mentioned earlier, he's not getting younger.
Yeah.
So, I tell you, when he goes, and we need to do, I tell you, that guy is really
Hey, let's be truthful.
helping.
They are a major player in the auto industry.
Yeah, oh, Erie Insurance,
Yeah.
yeah,
And home industry too.
yeah,
But, you go around the country and you see some of their minor footprints. I've been in like little towns in the middle of Virginia, little towns in the Midwest, and you see an agent with an Erie sign, you go, that's my hometown,
right,
okay?
yep.
You know,
It gets to be,
and so you see that, as their footprint expands, you have to start worrying that all of a sudden they become, what do you say? Ripe for the picking?
yeah, well, that's what I'm saying,
And, we should never assume that they're gonna be here forever.
you get this tech company here, you get that tech company moving there, you have expansion there, you get investment, and the next thing you know, you're starting to see these articles in these journals.
Yeah.
And the Wall Street Journal, or, business, and the next thing you know, it starts to build a buzz, and people say, hey, what the hell's going on in Erie County, the city of Erie? So you get all these high-tech companies, and you get these tech companies and then they see the cost of living here.
Yeah.
And the prices and stuff, and they go, whoa, but the only bad thing is somehow, I don't care how much money Tom Hagen has, he can't shut off the snow machine around here.
Yeah.
But other than that, it's pretty good.
But here's what I always say. There's no saying that you turn a liability into an asset.
Sure.
And you know how you do that?
Now focus on the winter
Well,
sports.
yeah, you're right, John. We get dumped on.
Yeah.
Once in a while, but guess what?
I think it's overhyped.
You can ride out to Peak and Peak.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in New York State, but think about this.
Yeah.
You have the ability to go over to Peak and Peak,
Yeah.
snowboard, ski.
Yeah.
You can go down to Edinboro and do some.
Here's what I don't like about the weather.
How about us putting some ice skating rinks in there and quit bellyaching?
Here's what I hate about the Weather Channel and the weather reports. The city of Erie itself doesn't get a lot of snow.
But John,
It's 90 south.
yeah, John, let me explain this to you. My father-in-law used to live in Roanoke,
Yeah.
and he'd call me and he'd go, "Are you guys okay?" And I go, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Well, they just said you got,
Yeah.
And I said, well, no, and he knew. I'd say, well, no, it's in Edinboro. He goes, oh, okay, and but nobody knows who Edinboro is on the national news.
Right.
So who
It's
gets
Erie.
Well, it's like Buffalo. You think
Yeah.
the actual city of Buffalo gets slammed every time? No, it's the outskirts, like, so, but they're not gonna say, they're not gonna say Lockport or something.
If the only time when you watch the snow bands set up, when we get major events,
Yeah,
it's a east to west southwest. And usually the bands there, they shift. Because normally that time of year, when it's
Yeah.
cold, it's a prevailing northerly wind, right?
Yeah.
So all that blows south. And then the next thing you know, we're on the news, Erie gets da 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 da. And then it's like, we didn't get anything. They got it down south on Summit area.
When I was in retail, you know what I found out? The worst thing that could happen was the mayor declared an emergency.
Yeah.
And everybody is up at the mall, our store, or someplace.
Yeah.
Because Erie people are, I'll say this about them, they're actually nuts.
I used to
They
go.
will, if you tell them they can't drive, what are they gonna do?
Go drive.
They're gonna get mad at the snowplows because
Yeah.
they can't clear it fast enough for them to get out there.
Kaz, I would at night. I used to go up to Family First. I used to be involved in sports up there. I'd leave my house, and it would not be snowing. I'd get up to I-90. It is a blizzard up there.
But still, people came up, right?
They were there.
You know why? It's an Erie thing.
Theory. We're used to it. But I'm just saying, Erie gets this rap of, oh my God, it's the snowiest city in. Not.
And what does Minneapolis and Quebec do? They have
know.
carnivals.
Oh,
they
yeah,
show
ice,
everybody's
crap.
out there happy, right?
Yeah, but that's cold for that.
Yeah, but I mean, what do? We But you know what? The worst thing I think was, and I shouldn't say this, I'll get in trouble. That billionaire thing is not doing us any favors.
I don't think it's bad.
You know?
Well, listen, they're not gonna pick Erie. They're gonna pick a town, they're gonna focus on the disaster on 12th Street.
Yeah.
That sells.
Well, I know, but
The comeback,
But here we are.
the underdog.
Here we are trying to sell ourselves, right?
Yeah,
And people look at that and go, huh. And then they read. Well, I'm not going to say the rest. I'll say the rest off the air. There was something else that happened that doesn't help our position because
at the show?
nationally,
Yeah,
when you're portrayed like that,
yeah.
that's what people remember. They don't remember, our good stuff doesn't get out there.
Well, you would hopefully think that as the show moves on and they start a business,
Yeah.
that they actually, when they show them driving around town,
I actually know the business he started.
well, I think everybody does, Cass.
Oh, you do?
Underdog Barbecue.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah, I think so. But, you
Is
had, yeah.
I don't watch reality TV too
I
much.
think it's Underdog Barbecue, yeah.
Is that the one that's 6 and yeah. But I mean,
There is a, that's a location. But anyways, when he drives around, you see some nice things in the city.
yeah, you do. But you also, you know what? The idea of picking up tires in the middle of it.
Yeah, I don't know, but some of it's
Yeah,
sleeping down at the dock.
That didn't happen.
No, I think he slept into the hotel.
No,
came out there to film.
I think somebody was in on it.
Oh, the cops had to know about it, or else he'd have been.
You tried
picked up.
some night.
I'd be in jail.
You tried monkeying around near where the old viaduct was.
Yeah, go dig around tires in there.
We had cameras over there one time because of the
Yeah.
and well,
I
mean,
hope
look,
it turns
it's
out
great
good.
entertainment. And,
Hey, hopefully when the show's over, he'll come back and invest some companies here.
well, I hope so. But
Hook him up over there in Sharon.
if that works,
Hook 'em up
if
at,
that works, I'll be
high
okay
tech.
with it. I just don't like the idea of showing that building.
Listen, when
That building on
every
12th Street is
every
a ward.
show,
That's a wart. Okay?
every show that comes to Erie focuses on that building. I mean, the 12th Street corridor has.
Well, I have an idea for it.
What's your idea?
We'll make it the World War II Museum, the Dresden bombing.
Yeah, and just keep it like it is.
Well, we'll just have tours through there. Say this is what happens.
Well, it's built like bricks.
I'm being
fall.
a butthead, right?
Yeah, that's all right. Some other things going on. The school board had a meeting today.
Yeah, we need some callers too, but.
I don't know what's going on. Hello.
Yeah, that was kind of a
They
interesting meeting.
they cut the custodial staff. I, for one,
Did they cut it?
yep. I, for one, am not too keen on the outsourcing idea. I mean, they killed family sustaining wages. They, and when you contract something out, it may save you some money at first.
Oh, it does save you money.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you that.
For sure.
But
There's always that but. So,
Yeah, and I'll tell you what it is. I don't want to say it publicly. Well, I have said it publicly.
well, I know what it is too.
But
I'll say it.
the quality goes down.
Yeah. And then
you lose,
these guys,
then you lose control.
if you hire
You
somebody,
actually lose control.
if you hire somebody to come in and clean from 8 to 4, at 4 o'clock, they're running out that door. These guys that are on the salary,
Yeah.
they're there at night. Like, if you need somebody to set table, if you hire somebody to clean,
Yeah.
and they tell you, you need to go over there and fix tables, or go over there, set up tables, or go fix the seats in Grover Cleveland, and they're gonna look at you like, are you crazy?
Well,
Finding staff that you don't control what they do. You don't control them.
We had an issue here years ago, and there were a couple of bad employees, and a certain mayor used that opportunity to outsource.
Okay,
Now, the guy that did my floor,
yeah,
the young man,
yeah,
no problems.
yeah,
My office at the time was immaculate. Okay,
good word,
but it wasn't just me because I was elected.
yeah.
The whole floor was like that.
Now, what about the other floors?
That's where the problem was. We had 2 floors that were a little questionable. Okay,
2 out of, how many floors are here?
what is 5 working
5
floors?
Yeah,
5 work, not counting the
so
basement.
almost half the
Not counting the
floors.
basement. So, well, it would, let's say 1.5 problems.
How
okay?
much, all right, let's answer, how much did it save, do you remember? How much?
Oh, it saved quite a bit.
Now, has that contract, so you don't get the same services and has?
No, we're still saving a little bit. you
Well,
know.
then that's good,
But
maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah, but if you walk around, it's hit and miss where it's good and it's bad. Okay.
Yeah,
And like the bad floors in City Hall are the first floor. That's where the public is.
right,
That has to be immaculate
yeah,
because that's like,
yeah, right, that's where public sees, right.
right. I mean, it's where everything is.
And usually I thought for
You
sure,
got the treasurer, you got the council.
I'm surprised they even came on your floor.
Well, and then the other floor was, believe it or not, there was a little issue on the 5th floor at that time.
Oh, really? You can't
And
have
you know, one thing you learn when,
If I'm a contractor, I got my best cleaners on the 1st floor and the 5th floor.
there you have it.
The heck with the 2nd,
Now-
3rd, 4th.
Now, they were just using that, I don't think the 5th was as bad as they said it was.
Yeah,
I could believe the 1st was because the 1st takes a terrific beating.
the 1st
So
and
you
the
have
5th.
to really stay on the 1st.
The 1st and the 5th, forget the 2nd, 3rd. For Dave
Yeah.
Rocco, was he 4th floor? Where's
No, he's
Dave?
5th.
He's 5th? Okay, he's lucky. Andy, forget it. You don't get nothing.
But my point was that the young man, that did mine went way overboard. But he did that to everybody. It wasn't just, you know, one could say, oh yeah, well, you're the controller, so you had to be nice to you. But it wasn't true. It was
I mean,
like
to
everybody.
save like $750,000 or $1 million on a $184 million budget. I mean, you got rid of a lot of good family sustaining
How many
jobs
did they get
today.
rid of?
Shoot, I can't remember, but it was.
Was this after the vote they said they
They
weren't,
took a vote the other day
not to outsource?
not to outsource. It was 4-4.
Yeah.
Then they called the state, let them take another vote. Imagine that today, and it passed 7-2.
They're
And
gonna-
I'm willing to
But they're
bet
gonna
right
outsource now?
now. Those are 2 people that said.
They're gonna outsource?
Yeah.
They are now.
Yes.
So when did they cut their employees?
I don't know when the last day of their contract, whenever they're,
I mean, when did they vote to cut them? Before that vote or after?
today they voted.
Oh, today they did.
Yeah. They voted today.
So they're gonna cut all of them and then basically outsource it.
Oh, yeah, it's done. They're already.
Are they giving the union a chance to rebid on it too?
What's that?
Are they giving the union a chance to rebid too?
To rebid the.
Well, the guys they fired,
No.
is the union willing to put
No,
another bid in?
I'll tell you, from what I heard, they had chances. So,
Who, the union did?
yes, they did. And they didn't make, I don't know what they were thinking. They were given opportunities by Polito to
Rebid
rebid, to come, you know.
or renegotiate.
Renegotiate, that's the term. And they didn't run with the bull, you know, take the bull by the horns and run with it. And-
This was an issue, John, way back when I was on the board.
Oh, for sure.
No colors, what's going on?
I don't know.
You all celebrated over?
Everybody's hung over today. But, what else is going on here?
You got anything good in there?
We got the new voting machines.
Oh, we are?
Got the new voting machines for the county. They,
Yeah, I saw
actually,
Councilman Anderson on there
Yeah,
talking
he-
about him.
yeah, he was the, he led the, he was part of that committee and, he's a smart dude, but he don't watch the show, so we can talk about it. But I wouldn't tell him.
He doesn't watch it?
So, no, he don't watch the show.
He probably knows what's going on.
He knows what's going on. He's only, but, when he comes on, he might watch it. They played these companies against each other, which you should,
Well, yeah.
and, got the best deal from the best company.
Hey, competition brings it out.
Absolutely. So they took their time and they got this, Dominion is the name of the company that, is supplying our new voting machines. And from what he had told me, they have, different languages that you can vote now. There's like 18 different languages where you can vote. And it's, of course, backed up by paper trail. You have to have them backed up by paper.
Well, I think that's, the one thing that scares you is when it's electronic. And what we've seen from national politics,
Right.
that's a little scary that you can't go back in the machine and say, because if it's printed, I don't believe they can,
Right.
what should I say? If it's printed, it can't, it'd have to be stolen.
Can't be
out of there.
challenged.
But, electronically, they could steal the numbers and configure them.
Well, a lot of people are concerned with the next election coming up that there's gonna be,
And well, they should be. When you even hear the inkling
yeah,
of, no matter what side of the political spectrum we fall on, that's really a dangerous precedent
a lot of
to have anybody, monkeying around with our system.
with a lot of these judges being placed forward by people, there's, concern that, like, if let's say something goes down in one of the major Democratic, parts of Cleveland,
Yeah.
they could throw the whole thing. What happened was a judge would have to do it, and there's been a lot of new appointed judges by this current administration.
But it could happen
So-
either way too,
Oh, it could happen on Democrat.
the-
Either way, I'm not just. You
Yeah.
notice I didn't say the name
but the thought
because
that,
it could happen both ways.
anybody
Yeah,
outside of our system can do this
and you have
should be a
Russia.
scary
And if
proposition.
the fact that Russia's involved in anything we do, and we're inviting Russia to be involved in anything we do, I don't know. I don't even want to get into.
Well, it's a scary thought that our system, which was our bedrock for years, no matter how we disagree politically,
Yeah,
the vote was the vote, and
Yeah.
now you don't know if it is.
people in China are fighting for democracy right now. It's, I'm surprised they're even allowing that to go on over there.
But when we were in Poland, we were amazed.
Yeah,
We saw people, walking to the polls
right,
in the rain.
right. I'll tell you,
I guess when you're subjugated for a number of years, your attitude changes.
on election day, last two election days, presidential that is, they showed CNN shows two poll sites. They show one in Cuyahoga County, Cleveland, and they show one in Philadelphia. I can't remember exactly which county it is.
Probably Delaware, Philadelphia's its own county,
Yeah.
so it could
One
be
of the-
Delaware's close to it.
They showed the major polling area, kind of like our Joanna Connell.
Yeah,
So they had two of them. One, they had the choppers above looking down.
that's scary, ain't it?
Yeah, but here's when I knew something was up. When Obama was running for president, those two sites had people lined up down the street. The day Hillary ran,
Wasn't lined up.
there was nobody there. And I said right there, I said to myself, uh-oh. Interesting.
Well, I remember two elections in Erie at Connell, and one was, and I'm not saying because
Yeah.
but it's a fact.
Wait till this one.
The one was Clinton,
Yeah.
and the one was Obama. And I
Wait.
remember,
Yeah.
I remember a Republican lady come up to me, and she was like shocked. And what I was not hired, I was a volunteer for the campaign at the time. What we were there for was to make sure everybody got the right to vote. And there was some of the marshals thought that when the time came to close the polls, if you weren't inside the door, okay,
Yeah.
you weren't allowed to vote. And I said, no, you have to go outside, stand at the end of the line,
Right,
and then nobody can join that line
right,
until the last person votes.
right,
Irregardless of when they get into the building, if they were in line, they were legally allowed to vote.
Right.
So I remember a couple times, we were even talking about provisional ballots.
yeah,
And so they were giving some tough time to somebody, and there was no Republican around at the time. And so they said, would you mind? I said, yeah. So the lady goes, geez, you're a Democrat. Why would you help me? And I said, look, this is all about today is about what's fair.
right,
And you should be allowed to vote.
Right.
Whether I disagree with you or somebody else does, the system is the system.
right,
We're supposed to accept it the way it is, right?
yeah,
So, me helping you, hopefully somebody would help me someday, but you're right about that, John.
I'm gonna tell you what, don't be surprised. I've been talking to people, I get around, that. A lot of Democrats support Trump.
Well, yeah, a lot of people, they're all
A
over the
lot.
spectrum.
So, with that being said, we're way over time.
Yep, well,
Mike, do your thing.
see you next week?
Probably.
Probably, I hope so. Will we?
You gonna be here?
Yeah.
I'll be here then. You're not here unless I get a guest, but it's all good.
Wherever I am,
That's right. I'll be around.
that's where I'll be.
That's right.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.